When people think of Japan, they often think about green tea. The Japanese tea ceremony is centered on this traditional drink, but it actually encompasses so much more.
If host invite the guest, that time host is always think about what is a good combination of the preparation for that occasion. So including the hanging the scroll, the title of the scroll, and then flowers, and then all the combination of the utensils, especially arranged for that guest.
Much is talked about in Chado, or the way of tea. Although a tea culture was already introduced to Japan from China in the 9th century, a simpler and more spiritual style of tea was established in the 15th century by Senrikyo. The tea ceremony evolved as a symbol of hospitality. Wa, Kei, Sei, and Jaku, or harmony, respect, purity, and tranquility, are the 4 pillars of the Chado promoted by Senrikyo that eventually became known as Wabi-cha. The Chado Resenke Tangkokai Manila Association is an organization that promotes and celebrates Japanese culture in the Philippines. People of any nationality are welcome to join as long as they have an interest in learning about Japanese culture. Also commonly called Tangkokai Manila, the association was established in 1997. Its members get the opportunity to keep their Chado skills and knowledge sharp through regular practice held at locations such as the Japanese Club in Makati and at the Roshinan Tea House in Makati Park and Garden. Apart from these practices, they also conduct tea ceremony demonstrations and seminars in places such as universities, malls, expats associations, and even kindergarten classrooms. In this video, we will show you how our association members practice the tea ceremony at home. Because of the pandemic, our Tangkokai Manila members can't attend their usual tea ceremony practice. However, they are encouraged to continue their practice at home using the items available to them. One of our members set up her own tea room in her condominium unit using local materials such as bamboo and nipa, while another one simply practices in her room. We also have with us a long-time member who will show us an in-depth demonstration of the whole process. Today, she is going to practice Chabako Timae, meaning the way of tea with tea box. This style of chado is usually used for casual occasions such as outdoor tea ceremonies. There are different styles of using chabako for different seasons. This style is for the summer. These are the utensils that she will be using for this practice. Now that all the utensils needed for timae are set, she will now start bringing them out. First, she uses the fukusa to clean the tray. The fukusa is used for cleaning utensils and for handling the hot surface of the kettle or jar. Next, she brings out the chashaku and places it on the tray at the 6 o'clock position. Then, she takes out the furidashi and places it at her side towards her guests. The host and the guest exchange bows, which signals the start of the stemae. She brings out the chawan with the kobukusa and natsume inside it. She then takes the natsume and places it on the tray. She also gets the kubukusa, which she uses to protect the chawan from touching the ground. An important step in chado is the purification of the utensils that are going to be used. All items are cleaned before being put in the chabaku, but the cleaning process is done to symbolize the host's efforts in serving her guests pure and good quality tea. Here, the natsume and chashaku are cleaned. She takes out the chasen suchu, which contains the chasen. This one is a Filipino-style chasen suchu made from carabao horn. She removes the chasen from it and places it inside the chawan. Next, hot water is poured into the chawan to warm it up. While the chasen is warming in the chawan, she takes out the chakin and folds it carefully. She then inspects the chasen, turning it and checking the tips for any damage. Since the chawan has warmed enough, she throws the water into the kensui and wipes it dry. When ready to start making tea, the host holds the chashaku and gives the guests the cue to eat their sweets. This ensures that there will be a lingering sweetness in the guests' mouths that will harmonize with the bitter flavors of the green tea. She begins making the tea by scooping powder from the natsume into the chawan. Then, she pours hot water into the chawan and whisks using the chasen. In this moment, guests use their senses to enjoy the sound of the whisking and the aroma of the tea. The host unfolds and lays out the kubukusa on the floor. This is to protect the chawan from the floor, as chabaku timai is originally done outdoors. The chawan is then turned so that its front, which has its design, faces the guest, and then it is placed on the kubukusa. After the guest is done drinking the tea, the host takes the chawan and cleans it with hot water. And then discarded into the kensui after. At this point, the guest might say, "Oshimai kudasai," which means that they are requesting that the host end the temae. The host will then say, "Oshimai itashimasu," and bow to signal that they will end the temae. If the guest does not say anything, the host will continue to make another bowl of tea. At the end of the temae, the host cleans up the utensils and places them back into the chabako. This is done in the reverse of the order when she first removed the utensils. As you can see, the Japanese tea ceremony is a very detail-oriented practice. Every single action has a reason behind it.
マニラ炭鉱会はもちろん自分たちの稽古を進めていくの大切なんですけれども、せっかくここ今フィリピンにみんながいるわけですから、そのフィリピンの中のいろんな特に若い人たちにそのお茶を通じてその日本のその文化を知っていただけたらいいなと思っています。フィリピンの方にはちょっと敷居が高いといいますか、正座をしなくてはいけないし、日本語も習わないとやっぱりお茶のいろいろなお稽古の中で難しいことが出てくると思うんですけれども、一人でも多くの方に参加していただけたら嬉しいかなと思っています。